Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Off the Dome Sports Podcast, your favorite sports podcast where 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 sports lovers sit and give their hot takes.
What?
Off the Dome. I am Redfish.
I am Mustang.
I'm Reba Hustle.
Lionel Frankenstein, baby.
And I'm Clown Car.
And we will be mocking today. A little bit of mock draft mayhem. This is our 5th episode. If you want to check out the first 4, go ahead and check those out on YouTube, Off the Dome Sports Podcast, where we've got our mock drafts on there. We also have the full-length podcasts if you want to watch those. Those will be coming back next week after the NFL draft. Really excited for this. So go ahead and check us out on Twitter, or X, as some may say.
Let's go.
Off the _Dome Pod. And while you're at it, check out the No as well, at being the KNEAUX, the only way to spell it. Tons of good content coming over there. Not only Louisiana-based sports content, but national stuff too. So if you like Louisiana sports, if you like sports in general, make sure to check out at Be In The Know. Gentlemen.
Hi.
Thursday marks the 2024 NFL Draft. We've already done 4 mock drafts. This is our 5th one. This is the first time doing it with more than 3 of us. Lionel, Clown Car, welcome to the Myrtle Ridge Manor.
I'm glad to be here. This is the first time hearing of 4 other mock drafts. Glad I got to be a part of this one.
Well, glad to see he watches the content. Anyway, really excited to do this one. This one's going to be fun. The way we're going to do this is we're just going to alternate picks, starting with Clown Car in the end. He'll go pick 1,
Bonix.
2, 3, 4, 5 down the line to me. Trades are allowable, but we're going to try to do this predictive style where we're predicting what's going to happen on Thursday. Clown Car will throw us for a loop multiple times today. I already feel it. So if you like this content, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, Off the Dome Sports Podcast. Without further ado, Clown Car, kick us off.
All right, guys. Look, baseball season is in full swing. I have no idea what's happening in football. I have no idea who's going to get drafted when, where, or how. So first overall, I'm going Caleb Williams.
Beautiful.
Some brilliant analysis there.
Yep.
All right. So second overall, it's going to be one of the quarterbacks. In my opinion, it's Jaden Daniels. No, not Spencer Rattler. Jaden Daniels just fits what I think Washington wants to do, especially after bringing in Marcus Mariota, kind of serve as a bridge quarterback. I don't think Jaden Daniels would need much of a bridge at all, though.
No, and then plus you have Cliff Kingsbury there, spread system. He's the one who developed Kyler Murray. He had Patrick Mahomes when he was in college, so he has a knack for messing with those improviser quarterbacks, and Jaden Daniels does that very well.
Patriots at 3. They kind of just wait and see what Washington does and do the opposite thing. So they go Drake May, and better fit than Jacoby Brissett.
Probably true. Probably true.
A lot of quarterbacks that are better fit than Jacoby Brissett.
I would argue the same.
And then up 4 we have Arizona, and with a trade that I've been speaking into existence for the past 3 episodes, I feel like they're going to trade back because of once again the fall off from Marvin Harrison to a few steps down isn't big enough to not consider having 3 first-round picks.
Interesting. Because, if the trade we just put through, they dropped down to 11, so it's a trade with the Vikings, you're going to miss out on Marv, Malik Neighbors, and Rome. So your next guy's with Brian Thomas.
P.T. Cruiser.
Hometown boy.
Some people do have, some people say Odunze will slip out of the top 10.
True.
Because a lot of those teams, 7, 8, don't need a receiver.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
They'll probably go somewhere else. It's just a gut feeling that I have, and I think if you look at it from the grand scheme, having, losing your 4th spot but gaining 2 additional picks when you already had 2 first-round picks, you could really start to build a team. And this team, the Arizona Cardinals, need to build towards something at this point.
Yeah, no, that's an absolute haul. I just wonder if they would rather stick at 4 and take probably the best player in the draft in Marvin Harrison.
It's always a question.
Yeah.
Indeed. This is why we do this.
This is why we do this. But that being said, it is a trade that a lot of people are talking about on social media. So you've got some run behind you on that one, Mustang.
And then with Minnesota trading up to get this 4 spot, they know they need a quarterback. They just saw 3 of them go in a row. Kind of panic. J.J. McCarthy to the Vikings.
Yeah, if you didn't make that trade there, I was going to do it with the Chargers. I think the Chargers are another one of those teams who can use a lot of help in a lot of different places. They're bringing in a new regime with a new GM, a new head coach. They want to make their mark. I think making a trade down there to get some depth would be nice. But, it's hard to look at Marvin Harrison Jr. on the board when you trade away Keenan Allen and Mike Williams goes to the Jets. It's hard to see him on the board and not take him. In an ideal scenario, you trade out here, but considering the 4 quarterbacks are gone, nobody's really looking to move up unless they're moving up for Marvin Harrison. But Jim Harbaugh has seen him in person multiple times. He knows what he can do, so MHJ is going
Lad
to
McConkey.
the Chargers. Let's cut that part.
They just got J.K. Dobbins, right?
They did sign J.K. Dobbins. They signed Gus Edwards, so they are basically Ravens West.
Fantasy football legend J.K. Dobbins.
I traded him before
legend?
the season.
What legend? The legend where he's healthy.
That is,
It only exists in myth.
It's a myth is what it is.
Okay, where are we at? The Giants at 6? Woo! Oh, man. This is where it all falls off the rails, people. My job here is to throw everything off for the other 4. That's why I'm picking first. Giants, I'm looking at the board here. Says they need a quarterback. Let's go look at the quarterbacks.
No.
He's there. Oh, no, I can't do that. Okay.
This is supposed to be predictive, by the way.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. I know. I just let me stand real quick. Malik Neighbors.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Was that the right pick?
Yeah, it was the right pick.
Let's go. Mr. NFL Tober.
In
Wow.
April.
Oh, here you go. My bad.
Clown car, more like clown GM.
Nah, yeah, Malik Neighbors is the right pick there, 100%. The Giants desperately need a legit playmaker.
The Giants need a lot.
Well, yeah.
Of anything.
Well, yeah. Michael Pratt to the Giants at 6. Anywho, the Titans at 7 is probably the easiest pick on the planet. Give them Joe Alt and call it a day. Give him the gold jacket now to wear over his blue Titans jersey.
No comments or concerns about that?
Third easiest pick in the draft. We talked about this fit the last 4 mock drafts, and it's Dallas Turner to the Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, Turner to the Falcons. I mean, he fits what the Falcons usually like in an edge rusher. Smaller 3-4 guy, but brings
Dirty
a lot
player.
of pressure. True. He's the dirty bird going to a dirty city from a dirty college. Dallas Turner.
Yeah, pretty fair. Next up with the Bears, they already got their number 1 pick in Caleb Williams. They got a lot of talent on offense, adding Keenan Allen this offseason. And so where do you go from there? I think you need to focus on the defense, but specifically the defensive line. I have them going Latu.
Oh,
One of
electric.
Rebo Hustle's least favorite players in the draft, but if his medicals check out, he's a technician off the edge, and they need help outside of Montez Sweat. So I could definitely see him going there as long as they feel comfortable about his physicals. Here, I'm the Jets. I mean, they have Mike Williams. They have Garrett Wilson. They shored up a little bit of their offensive line with Tyron Smith coming in. I still don't feel 100% comfortable about their offensive line, and Joe Douglas is a build from the trenches kind of guy. But that being said, Rome Odunze is sitting there at 10, and that is value you can't pass up. I think you have to go there. Rome Odunze to the Jets to add it to a room of Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams. I think he's a little bit of a different receiver than what you already have. Give Aaron Rodgers all the weapons he can have to try to make a run for the Super Bowl, and what some presume might be his final season.
Yeah, I like the way that kind of shaked up because Byron took that trade with the Cardinals, dropping down to 11. I wonder if we make that draft night trade, they go from 4 to 11. Do they do the same thing they did last year
with Paris
dropping
Johnson,
from second or third to 12 and then up to 6?
Yeah.
So maybe you jump New York if
At
Rome is
9.
still there at 9, because you can get Latu likely at 11. So Chicago would make that move.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a really good point. Monty Osenfort. They released a video today actually of what the negotiations were like in the Cardinals draft room when he was making those deals, and he's a very matter-of-fact guy, and he knows what he wants. So if he's looking at Rome Odunze there at 9, and Chicago's a team that's been rumored to move down since they have 2 top 10 picks. If they move down 2 spots and can still get a guy they would get at 9 to add stuff later in the draft, and then the Cardinals get the guy they want, that's probably a match made in heaven. But that being said, Clown Car.
So look, okay, so now there's a conundrum. Okay, so he did this trade earlier that had the Cardinals trading back to pick 11, and I was ready to pick for the Vikings. So this might not be accurate. Becomes an issue.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry about that.
It's hard not to look at big old Brock Bowers over here, Paul Heyman's own.
What?
What? Paul Heyman's own. Brock!
I was not ready for a Brock Lesnar. reference in this pod.
Look, Brock Bowers is good. Was the second best tight end 2 years ago, behind the mayor of South Bend. So give me Brock Bowers at 11 to the Cardinals. Woohoo!
Predictive wise, don't love that because they have Trey McBride.
Hey.
But hey, wait, let me finish.
Hating on my pick.
But if you're the Cardinals, you just want to have talent, and there's not many more guys talented in this draft than Brock Bowers.
That's what I'm saying. I knew that from the beginning.
Pick number 12.
Oh man, so if Brock Bowers were still on the board, I feel like this would be a real good place for him to land. But Clown Car ruined that for me. Let's see here. Let's look at the edge rushers, because I think Verse is still on the board, right?
Yes.
Yep. So the Broncos need a little bit of help in a lot of places. And Jared Verse is no Marshawn Nealand. That is not happening. Do not wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. So, as great as Jared Verse would be, the Broncos do not have a second round pick. So the idea of getting their quarterback in the second round or beyond is not going to work for them. So at 12, the Denver Broncos are taking Bo Nix.
Yeah, I mean, they traded for Zach Wilson today, but that's not a lot of capital considering they switched sevenths to get him.
And
all they did.
that's not your answer. That's
absolutely
your
not.
Band-Aid.
Yeah, it's they traded for Zach Wilson.
Breaking
The Broncos
news
today. Zach Wilson is the Sean Payton project, but Bo Nix is, he has the same style as Drew Brees as far as like short to intermediate game, very accurate. Doesn't he's like later career Drew Brees.
So are a
At
lot
the
of
same
people.
time, he's more mobile.
So
More
are
mobile.
like most quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Mr.
Um,
Statue Breeze over there.
but
Except
yeah.
for one spin move against the
That
Falcons.
spin move was nasty.
That's all we
True.
need.
Yeah, no second round pick. You have to invest in a guy if you like him that much.
Yeah, and I mean at 12, you can say it's a reach for Bo Nix, but Sean Payton probably is not going to be very patient with whatever quarterback comes in. So taking Bo Nix, he's been in college since college started. Mm-hmm. He's been there forever. And you also got to remember Oregon Bo Nix is much different than Auburn Bo Nix. So he's shown the development through his ages in college, and will be set to thrive in Denver.
Yeah, I mean, go get your guy. We did that same pick in mock draft 1.0. So here, Raiders, they start the train of cornerback picks, and they'll take the number one guy on the board in Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Whoa.
Yeah, like we said, this was supposed I
I have not done much corner homework, so I need Reese to defend his love of Kool-Aid McKinstry. Convince me. Somebody convince me of drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. So last year we saw the explosion of Terrion Arnold.
Is he okay?
mainly because of how good Kool-Aid McKinstry was. Barely had any balls thrown his way. The quarterback hardly even looked in his direction and always focused on the opposite side of the field, which was Terrion Arnold, who had a great season. And so stats-wise, Terrion Arnold would be, the number one corner in this draft class, but that's only because they'd never tested Kool-Aid McKinstry this past year.
That's fair. There's a lot of draft folks out there who are in love with Quinion Mitchell. Can you
And
say
they're
why?
wrong.
Okay, why? Why are they wrong?
We, did a bunch of research, watched a bunch of film on him. The stats look great, but he's playing against,
Inferior competition.
yeah,
I
like
get it.
the
Oh,
yeah.
Fair.
All of his picks came from Northern Illinois.
yeah. Last year he did not have the best season. He had, I think, only one interception. But the year before he had 5, but 4 of them came from one game against Northern Illinois. And then a lot of people were talking about his Senior Bowl and the reps they did then. And he looked good in the game, but in the one-on-one drills, stuff like that, he was getting beat a lot.
By Roman Wilson.
So I just,
There'll be no Roman Wilson slander out here.
I hope he does do well in the NFL. From a guy coming from Toledo, it's hard to play at one of these colleges and get your name out there like he has. So I hope the best of him, but I just don't think that he's as NFL ready as some of these other corners.
I respect it. I'm not the corner guy, so solid.
Neither I'm the running back guy, but there's none.
Yeah. He's gonna take Braylon Allen at 10 or whatever, 13.
Group pick.
Showtime.
Yeah, so
Oh,
since
boy.
we're all Saints fans, we're going to group pick for the Saints. I think we'll probably all be in agreement here, or at least agreement between two guys. I guess we'll just go down the line, say who we'd pick. Clown Car, if you want to start.
This is one guy I do know about. I've watched film on this guy. I like J.C. Latham.
Okay.
I'm of the opinion that left tackle needs to be addressed, so it is Fashanu. And that's it.
So the difference between the two guys, Latham more of a just right tackle guy that's only ever played there. But like we said in the past, if you can get a starting spot at Alabama, you stick there and you don't complain about it. Fashanu, probably one of the highest ceilings in this draft. Personally, I think that he will be dominant on the next level. Therefore, I'm going with Fashanu.
I'm just going to back him up further. I'm also going with Fashanu. I like what I've seen from his versatility. Makes him beat out J.C. Latham for me.
Yeah, I think Fashanu is probably not only the highest ceiling guy, but to me, he is the highest floor when it comes to pass protection. Fuaga, very good run blocker, nasty streak off the right side. Really good in the Senior Bowl, but he's not a polished pass protector. Fautanu is a guy who projects to kick onto the inside. J.C. Latham is a right tackle only guy. So for me, in the Saints situation, Fashanu makes the most sense.
Yeah, so like
Which
that
means they will take Graham Barton.
can't wait.
Correct.
Marshawn Nealon, you are a New Orleans Saint.
Kingsley Suamatai.
Oh, let's go. No, yeah, I think Fashanu's definitely my favorite of the tackles still left on the board. But I wonder if the Saints will, like, if this is how the board falls, and they see Fuaga and Fatanu both as those versatile, can play guard tackle flexibility, I wonder if they would want that in the new Clint Kubiak offense.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the new offense, like you said, as well as, I mean, just what the Saints could use as far as really having 3 spots on the O-line that need some shoring up, Fautanu's probably the best pick from versatility standpoint right there. But it's hard to look at a guy who was touted as the number 2 tackle pretty much all offseason until some late pushes from the Senior Bowl and pass up on him. So I definitely see what you're saying from the versatility perspective, because Fuaga and Fautanu are both guys who could kick inside, but man, it would be hard to see Fashanu go past 14.
Yeah, and from the versatility, I mean, we've only ever seen Fuaga play right tackle. Fautanu is projected to be a tweener type of guy, but you have two glaring spots at tackle, so why don't you just shore it up with one of the best tackles in this draft?
Yeah, no, I'm 100%. Like, Fashanu is the move.
Okay.
Mustang, you're up at 15.
Yeah, and I'm going to need you to pull down that cornerback drop-down menu. And we're going to go with the next best corner on the board, and that's going to be Terrion Arnold. I really don't know how much I need to say about this, but obviously one of the biggest needs for this Colts team is their defense. And to me, the one that sticks out is another corner.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the needs there, wide receiver, DB, that's pretty much the only place I'd see this Colts team going. So Terrion Arnold, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, or Brian Thomas Jr. If you narrow it down to those four guys, I'd give it almost 100% guarantee that one of those four guys in this exact situation is a Colt. Seahawks here, a guy who I've thought about a lot going here is Troy Fautanu. However, because of the way the board fell, I'm going to go somebody else at that position, and I'm going to go Talais Fuaga. And I don't see him making it to 16, but if he does, I think you run that card in. You've seen Charles Cross go there, and he's been playing really well in that Seahawks offense. So if you want to kick Fuaga inside and play him, or even try him out on the other side of the line, go for it. But I think Fuaga offers really good run blocking for a team who loves to run the ball. With Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet in the backfield, give Talais Fuaga over to the Seattle Seahawks, and I think that'll be a good selection at 16.
Okay.
Looks like you just threw a wrench in his plan.
Yeah, look, that's a good pick. I'm still kind of reeling from the Saints pick when I was outvoted 4-1. That kind of hurt my feelings a little bit.
Happens to the best of us.
Hey,
Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be mad
Maybe.
if they. If
Yeah,
Latham was there.
Latham is a great player too. I think if Fashanu wasn't on the board, I would have voted with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Jaguars need a guard, an edge rusher, and a defensive back. We're looking at the defensive back page. Oh, that's what that is?
That is what that is.
You guys were talking about Toledo guy earlier. So, truthfully, I mean, he has a cool name. So, give me Quinyon Mitchell to Jacksonville.
I feel like we've mocked this a lot.
Yeah, I want to talk about Quinyon Mitchell for just a second because
Go for it.
He's been a guy who I've really liked just because I listen to so many different draft podcasts because, you know, what else do you do during draft time? And everybody's fallen in love with Quinyon Mitchell. I have him as my corner 2, above Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid's at 3. I think Quinyon Mitchell's a really good player. I think he's very versatile between zone and man coverage.
We're having
It's okay.
a discussion over here.
It's okay. I'm going to restart. Quinyon Mitchell, I think that's a really good pick for Jacksonville. Not only is he somebody who we've mocked there a lot, I think he's somebody who just makes sense. Really good cornerback, can play man, can play zone. Like y'all said, he did get 4 picks in one game. But this year, you know, we looked at his stats just a minute ago, allowed a 51 passer rating against. And I think the small school thing can get overhyped a little bit. I mean, Sauce Gardner went to Cincinnati. Cincinnati didn't play a bunch of really good schools either. Sauce Gardner goes number 3 overall and is arguably the best corner in the league. So I think Quinyon Mitchell brings every tool you could possibly want. I think he's 5'11", 6 foot, long arms, ran a 4.3 at the combine. I mean, he's built like a corner. He plays like a corner. And although, you know, he has this small school reputation, I mean, you look at it there, 3 dropped picks. So you add 3 picks. He's got 4 picks this year. And my favorite thing about Quinyon Mitchell is not only is he fast, athletic, and long, he's not afraid to play the run. And I think that's really, really important in the NFL. You have to be physical and you have to be willing to play every snap you're on the field. And Quinyon Mitchell doesn't take snaps off. I think Quinyon Mitchell's a really good player. I'm not going to sit here and say he's an all-pro, but I like him quite a lot for a mid-first-round pick right here.
No, that's fair. I think Quinion Mitchell, he's an athletic. That's his whole thing, right? So I think he's off the board at was it 15 to Indy? Yeah, they love taking their athletic freaks, and he fits the mold there. But then jumping to 18 here with the Bengals, got a little something I'm cooking up.
Is he cooking up a trade? He is.
All right, here we go. Let's make a trade with the Miami Dolphins. We're going to drop down to 21. Dolphins are coming up for, and I don't know what else what the trade exactly looks like because I'm not an NFL GM. There we go. All right, yeah, so send it through. The most lopsided trade in NFL history. Let's go. All right, so at 18, the Dolphins are moving up because J.C. Latham is still on the board, and they need to shore up that tackle position. I know Latham's a right tackle. Get him opposite of Teron Armstead for maybe one more year. Don't know how much more Armstead has left in the tank, but still just a great guy to have in the room to learn from for the next year, maybe two.
Yeah, I think J.C. Latham is by far the third best. We can even argue that he's the second best. We literally just did. And it just came down to fit with the Saints. Whereas if the Dolphins trade up here, perfect thing to do, take a right tackle. But what we were discussing a second ago is if I was the Bengals, I'd be sprinting J.C. Latham's name to the monitor because they need tackle as well, and to trade back here is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I wonder if maybe they're looking because if I were the Bengals, I would be looking at the two interior linemen still left in Jerzon Newton and Byron Murphy, and that's probably where I would go at 19 if I were the Bengals, or 18 if I were the Bengals. Where you have, if you're Miami at 21, you've got LA and the Steelers who could both probably take a tackle in either Fatanu, Latham, Amarius Mims is still on the board. So even if you want to go your tackle at 21, maybe you swing for the upside, the freakish upside of Amarius Mims.
Yeah, I agree. So 19, the Rams, we've mocked a lot of Byron Murphy to be the Aaron Donald heir apparent. But this generational talent is still on the board, and I will continue to say that he is a generational talent. I think that he might be the best edge rusher in this draft just from a pure size, and he can play today side of him. And I think that the ceiling of Jared Verse is untouchable.
Yeah, that makes that Rams defensive line broken, even more broken than it was with Aaron Donald there. Now you've got Jared Verse, pretty solid rookie in Byron Young over there, and then Kobe Turner in the middle.
Kobe Turner as well, yep. Just to touch on Jared Verse for a second, Rebo and I we don't necessarily agree on every player, but Jared Verse is one guy we do. I will go on record as to say I think Jared Verse is probably the best edge rusher in the draft since Myles Garrett. I think Jared Verse has inside-outside versatility, 2 9-sack years in a row at Florida State. He's built exactly how you want an edge rusher to be built. He reminds me of Kayvon Thibodeau, who came out a few years ago, but I think he's even better than Kayvon was. Kayvon was take a shot on an upside guy and hope it works out. I think Verse is a proven player, and I think he'll continue to be that proven player once he gets to the next level.
Yeah, Verse, we've been saying it since the beginning of time, that Verse looks like he could go into the NFL today and produce massively for whatever team takes him. I do feel like it's a good fit for the Rams, but I feel like he's a good fit on any team.
Yeah, I agree.
But moving on, pick 20, the Steelers. I need you to pull that drop down and click on that WR and draft Brian Thomas Jr.
Let's go.
We've seen the emotional roller coaster of the Pittsburgh Steelers the past 2 years. We saw, George Pickens sneakily catch for over 1,000 yards last season. didn't feel like he did, but you look at the stats, and yeah, he did. Quarterback plays kind of in all over the place. They bring in 2 new quarterbacks. They lose Deontay Johnson. And I think, replacing him immediately with Brian Thomas, have him opposite of George Pickens, you have 2 nasty guys who can make plays for you.
No, I love Brian Thomas to the Steelers. That's incredible. I mean, you get probably the best deep threat in the draft, like pure deep threat, with one of the best, deep ball throwers in the NFL.
Yeah. And then pair him alongside a receiver who we've already seen make sensational catches. Like, how did he come down with the ball? Odell-esque catches on a game-to-game basis.
I just wanted to insert this one little thing because I haven't been on here in a while. Haven't gotten to talk about it. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go out and sign Mr. Unlimited. And they're like, oh, great, we got this veteran Russell Westbrook.
Whoa! Also a veteran.
Russell Wilson. Okay, I know a little more than football than I'm leading on. I know I just said Russell Westbrook, but I know a little more than that. That was a mistake.
It's playoff season. It's.
But my king, JF, Justin Fields, they have him riding the bench now, and that's killing me inside. He deserves to be a starter. I don't care that he gets the team all he wants from it after Russell Wilson is gone. I need JF to be a starter now. I really do. And people think I'm crazy.
I think Fields will definitely start some games this year. I don't know if he's going to be day one starter, starts every game, but I think he'll definitely start some games because either Russ will get hurt, Russ won't play well, or they're in a position where it doesn't really matter, so they're going to try out Justin Fields. Like, one of those 3 scenarios will happen. So I don't think there's a scenario where Justin Fields doesn't get any PT this season. So we'll see what he has. I'm not the biggest Justin Fields guy, but I think he definitely deserves a shot on a better team than the Bears have been the past 2 seasons.
I just want to say, I just wanted to mention how much it broke my heart.
I hear you.
When that news broke. It really crushed me.
Pick 21 here. I was expecting the Dolphins, but, we have that trade for the Bengals. And then, he talked about the 2 interior linemen, and seeing Byron Murphy here at 21 is a big opportunity because Byron Murphy could be a very, very good player. But I'm going to take a guy I love, a guy I've talked about all offseason, in Troy Fautanu. He has versatility to play inside-outside. The Bengals have had one of the biggest struggling O-lines the past few years. It's been one of their biggest weak points. And no matter what they do, it never seems to work. So for me, I think you have to invest in that position if you want it to get better. And you take a guy who's versatile, a guy who was on the Joe Moore Award-winning Washington offensive line who made the national championship, and a guy who's probably the best player on that line in Troy Fautanu.
Philadelphia. Rocky Balboa. Liberty Bell.
41 host.
Finish the story.
Finish the story.
Eagles are trying to finish their story. They need a wide receiver, a linebacker, or a defensive back. Show me wide receivers.
Interesting.
I'm trying to be predictive here. And there's names here that I do know and that I would want on my team. I feel like high-flying offense, they're going to need some wide receivers. I'm taking Ladd McConkey.
Yes.
Interesting pick, to say the least. I think Ladd McConkey's a very good player. Don't get me wrong. Showed off his speed and athleticism at the combine. He's got the short hands, played for a national champion.
High motor.
I don't know if he's high motor, high IQ, first one in, last one out kind of guy. Sneaky athletic. However, I don't know if he's necessarily a top 25 guy.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. That's why it's predictive.
It's what he predicts.
Do you know what the word predictive means?
Predictive. I'm predicting.
Okay.
I think that the Eagles are going to take Ladd McConkey.
I'd love to see it, honestly.
They do love Georgia. The
whole
Eagles take
day
Georgia
through.
players all
We didn't
the
even
time.
Connect that.
The Eagles do take Georgia players all the time, so you may be right here.
So it's either him, Amarius Mims, or Kamari Lassiter. at 22.
Or Javon Bullard. Don't forget about Javon
I already
Bullard.
forgot.
Cool. 23, the Arizona Cardinals.
What was the move at 11?
11. Can we scroll up to check 11 just to make sure? Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers. Okay. To pair with their already great tight end Trey McBride.
Correct.
So, I'm either 2 is better than 1. You're so right. Look at what New England did for all those years. All right.
So glad he doesn't have a mic.
I'm stuck between I don't know what the Cardinals defensive line looks like. Anyone want to help me out there? Anyone know?
Edge rushers. Edge rushers aren't an immediate need. They took B.J. Ojolari, who had a decent rookie season. I forget the guy on the other side's name, but he was kind of their number one edge rusher last year.
I'm looking more at the inside because I mean there's some dogs on the board right now that should have been long gone by now.
There's not a guy bigger than Byron Murphy on the Arizona Cardinals, if that's your question.
I mean, there's not many guys bigger than Byron Murphy.
Better. There is
physically,
not,
yes, because he's a small man, but I mean, dude's incredible.
Right.
However, their secondary is, off the top of my head, rough. So take. No more Aeneas Williams.
They haven't had Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie for a long time. Thank you, Mustang.
So we're going to go Cooper DeJean here because he gives you that flexibility of corner, safety. Wherever you need him to play on the back end of the defense, he'll have it locked down. The Cardinals will be set. A lot of grit. Really just a football guy.
Yeah.
Intangibles through the roof.
He's a football player. He's 6'1", 207, versatile guy. Was really athletic. Had a really good vert at his combine. His pro day, excuse me.
You getting choked up over there for Cooper DeJean?
Actually. I just love white corners. What can I say? Jason Sehorn-esque. No, but Cooper DeJean, very good player. Did really well at his pro day. The one question was, what's the health like with his leg? And then he comes out, runs a 4.4, has a 39-inch vertical. I think he's okay.
And if the board falls like this, the Dallas Cowboys are throwing like 6 parades. I think so. Maybe I'm way off here.
No, I mean, there's no way they go interior D-line 2 years in a row. It already messed up once. You might as well continue to get a tackle that rarely plays.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like Amarius Mims to the Cowboys a lot. I think that's a great fit for them.
Yeah, they get Tyron Smith 2.0.
They need an offensive line. Bottom line. Moving on to the Packers, though. I don't think he can fall any further. I will take Byron Murphy to the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Packers and you get Byron Murphy, how excited are you? I mean, a playoff team that gets a top 15 level player in the draft, that's a great pick. 26 here with the Bucks. There's a couple different routes you could go here. You could look at Graham Barton as an offensive lineman, a guy who's probably going to play interiorly. He played left tackle, but he played center early in his career at Duke, and they lost their center and one of their starting guards. You could look at Jackson Powers-Johnson because he is a steadfast center. You could look at Nate Wiggins because he's a secondary player. But for me, I'm going to trade out here, actually. And that's because I think there's one team who needs to address a need that they don't want to sit back and wait on it, and that's the Las Vegas Raiders.
Whoa.
They could move to 27, where the Cardinals have already picked twice. We'll give Rebo some time. They could wait till 27. Cardinals are probably a team that could look to move back because they already picked twice. But why wait when you can move up and get your guy? They're not going to sit back on their heels and have Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell going into the season. They're going to take Michael Penix. I think he fits exactly. No, we're not playing that. He fits exactly what the Raiders want. Devontae Adams, I'm sure, would love to have a guy with a super strong arm. Michael Penix, gritty player, and that's what the Raiders are known for. Has battled through injuries through 2 colleges. Went out and had a Heisman level season. Ended up in that conversation. Led Washington to a national championship. And I don't think you can sit back and wait into the second round for somebody to jump you and take a quarterback, because there's a lot of teams in the league who could use either a high-level backup or even a starter like Michael Penix. So Raiders move up and grab their guy.
Yeah, I like the pick, but however, in the back of my mind, to me, the Raiders taking Michael Penix screams to me the Raiders taking another quarterback in the first round that went to a college with the colors of purple and gold, Jamarcus Russell.
I don't necessarily comp those two. I think for
Strong
me,
arm, mobile.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but that's
Could
also
gain
Josh
70
Allen.
Could
so
gain 70 pounds in all
I don't think Michael Penix is gaining 70 pounds.
I don't. I'm not saying that he will end up like Jamarcus Russell. I'm just saying there's similarities that the Raiders may have in the back of their head.
Yeah, and just my last point on that, from the Tampa Bay perspective, why would you do this? They kind of remind me of teams we talked about earlier in the draft who could use a lot of different spots on that team. So if you can move back into the top of the second round and get some extra picks in there, and you can address interior O-line with guys who are probably going to fall to that spot, you could address edge rushers who are going to go aplenty in the second round, and you can also get some secondary guys who I think can help you in those spots as well. So I think it makes sense for both teams. I feel like the Raiders might do this on draft day, and for me, I wanted to be the one to do it because I didn't know if anybody else would. So,
okay, I'm up with the Arizona Cardinals, and once again, I was expecting to pick Vikings here. So
the Cardinals. This is the Cardinals pick.
This is the Cardinals pick, so I was actually expecting to pick Vikings here. No. Okay.
You can.
Look, I see.
You can pick for the Vikings.
Oh,
Vikings
don't get me
trade
started
twice
with
on that.
trades. You guys would hate it. We're being predictive here, and I see two big fat letters at the top of their needs list, and it's WR. So show me the wide receivers, and I'm picking Keon Coleman
It's a good pick.
to the Arizona Cardinals at pick 27 at the 2024 NFL Draft on April 25th.
Okay, he was very specific with that. A.D. Mitchell falling down the board beyond guys like Ladd McConkey and Keon Coleman. Interesting.
As
No,
it should
I'm
be.
so glad he took Keon Coleman because I didn't want to be faced with that situation. The Bills here at 28, though, they're going to go receiver because they have nobody over there. Who's their number one right now? Khalil
Curtis
Shakur?
Samuel.
Ouch, that hurts.
Gabe Davis is a Jacksonville
Jacksonville.
Jaguar.
It is going to be A.D. Mitchell, and they run that card up to the front.
Yep.
That's
How fast?
quite the speed of lightning.
Depends who's running.
So they risked Josh Allen. They just said, go out there.
They're basically risking him right now with
Well,
no O-line and no weapons. So.
Pretty much be a one-man show over there. But now he's got A.D. Mitchell, so he's a little happy. Good for him.
Rebo's picking for my Lions. What are we thinking, Rebo?
Well, we've only ever talked about corner because it's their only glaring need. And I think I kind of liked what Redfish over there told me earlier today, and that Nate Wiggins just isn't a Lion.
He's not.
Small, not as rangy as you would like, but a guy that's a real grinder. Enos Rickershaw Jr.
Yeah.
I love it.
I brought this up before the pod, and the reason I said that is because the Lions are a team who is not afraid to get their guy. Jahmyr Gibbs was not expected to go in the top 15. He goes 12 to the Lions. Jack Campbell wasn't expected to go in the first round. He goes 18 to the Lions. They're not afraid to get their guy, and if they like a guy, they're going to take him. I mean, you could even see the Lions moving up in this draft to get either a corner, or I think they could even address the edge rusher position. But for me, Enos Rickershaw, physical player, just plays like you would expect Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell to love. Not afraid to stop the run. Will play down the field. And if there was one thing that hindered them in that NFC Championship game, it was second half defense when they were really getting torched on the outside by guys like Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. The Lions implement the Lions implement a run defense that plays zone coverage on the borders, and Ennis Rakestraw thrives in that system from Mizzou. So I think this is a match made in heaven for my Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, they take a jungle cat and turn him into a safari cat.
Ooh, I love it. The cat to cat. More cats per cat.
Even though lions aren't considered cats.
If I were the
Depends who
Lions
asks.
there, the only other position I would maybe consider, or I guess players, I would look at Graham Barton or JPJ, because you've got Frank Ragnow on the inside of that old line that's battling every injury in the book, getting older. I forget one of their guards, Mr. Lion over there.
Jonah Jackson left, I
Yeah.
believe, and then
There's an older guard
but
there,
Kevin
too.
Zietler
That
came
would
in
be it.
from the Ravens to replace Jonah Jackson, who
And
went to the Rams.
that's not your long-term fix, but he's
No.
got maybe a year, maybe two. So you get, JPJ to sit down and learn for a year, and the Lions continue to build on their strength.
Yeah, I think another guy you have to look at, because he's just a Lion, is Zach Frazier. He is a center out of West Virginia, but I mean, he's just a nasty player. Just absolutely goes at it at the second level, and he will attack. Yeah, he attacks at the line of scrimmage. He's versatile, and he also was a wrestler in high school, which Dan Campbell is gonna love that. So if you're looking interior O-line, Zach Frazier is another name to watch for the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, his stats showed it. They also showed that they played Duquesne, and I didn't know they had a football team.
Former wide receiver at Duquesne, Tone Diggs.
Huh?
Swear.
Oh yeah.
Look it up.
I knew he went there. I didn't know
Look it
he
up.
played there.
That's
Shout out
good to know.
Kickball Dad.
Good to know.
But here,
Yeah, you're the last pick, Lot.
That's bad news for you.
Okay.
the Ravens here, I could see going a lot of different ways. But with the way the board fell, I don't see them reaching for a wide receiver. Nate Wiggins would be a good pick for them to me. I really like Graham Barton to the Ravens. Also, Jerzon Newton would be a good pick. But I feel like their need is mainly focused on that offensive line. So I'm going to go Graham Barton. They could use a tackle or a guard, get a guy that could potentially play both. And I think it kind of sets a foundation for this team.
He comes in immediately. He immediately comes in for Kevin Zietler, a guy who we just talked about a second ago. Very versatile player. They need help on the O-line. Great pick out of Mustang. Pick 31, 49ers here. Man, the Norney Finers. If I know anything about the 49ers, it's they will have 18 defensive linemen before they have anybody else on the team. If Graham Barton was still there, Graham Barton was the pick. But you have to cash in on the potential of Jerzon Newton at 31. I mean, an absolute stud to make it this far. I don't see him even making it this far in real life, but if the board falls to you where San Fran, a team who has invested heavily into the defensive line.
I mean, they already have 5 potential All-Pros starting on the team.
Make it
Now we
number
get 6.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they have shown throughout their history of the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era that they build from the trenches, and it seemed to work pretty well. They've made it to 2 Super Bowls and 2 other NFC championships. Jerzon Newton in a 49ers jersey just feels right here.
No, yeah. So when Byron was going through the Graham Barton to the Ravens, Reese looked over at me. He was like, "Are we about to see a Johnny-less and a Chop-less first round?"
Johnny Lachop.
And I was terrified because
I fully thought Reese was going to take Chop at 29 with the Lions when he started
Chop
talking about not
Chop is a
Nate
great
Wiggins.
fit over there too.
Chop to
That's
the
what I was thinking.
Oh, chop to the
Paired
lines.
him up with
Aiden
Aiden Hutchinson. Whew, electric.
Now, before-
Woogie Woogie.
Before Clown Car makes the last pick here, obviously there's a lot of guys who could very well go in the first round who haven't gone off the board yet. Nate Wiggins, Jackson Powers Johnson, Chop Robinson. You can even look at a guy like Tyler Guyton or Jordan Morgan at the tackle position, who I think are very, very well going to go in the first round, or have that possibility. 3 out of those 5 guys.
Or, even still, people could be extremely attracted to that speed in Xavier Worthy, enough to reach
Yep.
for him in the first round.
Yep, and then you have athletic freaks like Troy Franklin at the wide receiver position. You have Peyton Wilson, who seems to be one of the best stand-up linebackers in the past couple drafts. Outside of his injury history, there's not really big mark on him. Braden Fisk blew up the combine, so there's so many players we could see go at the end of the first round. But that being said, Clown Car has our last pick at 32. Clown Car, Kansas City Chiefs, last pick of the first round. Who is going to end off the 2024 NFL Draft?
I know America is waiting in bated breath for Clown Car to put the exclamation point on this first round mock. Questions rattling around their head.
Oh,
They are listing 3
Sam
needs for your Kansas City Chiefs.
They're not mine.
Your Kansas City Chiefs.
They're not mine.
Yours. Show me the wide receivers, huh?
Reese is going to have a blast.
I'm doing nothing but wide receivers this draft.
cutting this
no,
one.
I'm not. Look at this. Ew. Show me tackles. Show me tackles. Ooh. Show me D linemen. Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna give you them all on the same screen. Goodness gracious.
Why don't you add quarterback to there too?
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Just add them in. I just want to see. I just want to see where the quarterbacks rank.
Nothing's going to change.
Spencer Rattler.
Okay. You know,
How far down is he?
77.
okay. Go back up to the top, man. What are you doing? What are you, ridiculous? Go back up to the top.
Reese is going to have so much fun cutting this.
I think it needs to stay.
The Kansas City
disagree.
Chiefs select Tyler Guyton.
Good pick.
Yeah. Tyler Guyton is a massive player. I think he's like 6'8" at the right tackle position. So he's definitely a first round guy. So that was a really good pick by you. So let's look at the board here. Sure. Let's look at the board here. Look at who we drafted. Obviously, I think this isn't the craziest mock draft you've ever seen as far as like crazy trades and
Hey! Caleb Williams!
Are you not entertained?
not a bunch of crazy trades, not a lot of out of the box picks besides 22, 27. But I think this is a good mock draft. I think we had fun doing it. Obviously, there's going to be more trades in real life. We think no draft is going to end with like 3 first round trades. You always get more than that. But I think it'll be fun. No matter what happens on Thursday, it'll be a good time. We wish we could, do another live stream like we did last year. We wish we would all be in the same room to watch it. But we all have outside commitments. Some of us have to work. Some of us has to go on a little weekend trip. So hopefully we get at least some of these picks right to make us look pretty smart. If you haven't checked out the other 4 mock drafts,
We're going 27 for 32.
yes.
28 for 32.
I like that. If you haven't checked out the other mock drafts, go ahead and do that on our channel, Off the Dome Sports Podcast. We had 4.0, which was the Saints only mock draft. 3.0 was our Chaos edition, where we did some off-the-wall stuff. And then the first 2, we kind of treated as 2 different mock drafts, one predictive, one what we would do. So this was our final one. Obviously, we'll see what works out on Thursday. So we'll come back to this. What did we do? What did we get right? What did we get wrong? In our next episode, which will probably come out next Tuesday. It's always a fun time when we get all 5 of us in here because we're just a fun group of guys.
Couple of dudes
being dudes. But thank everybody for watching. Leave your draft predictions in the comments. If you're watching this after the draft, let us know what we got right, what we got wrong, how you feel about it. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to check out everything else we've posted. Other mock drafts. We talk about Louisiana sports mainly with the Pelicans, who are in the playoffs right now. LSU baseball is not where we want it, but once LSU football rolls around, we'll be talking about them. And, of course, talking about our New Orleans Saints. So obviously thank everybody for watching. Make sure to follow us on the artist formerly known as Twitter on X, _Dome Pod. Make sure to check out the No Network, posting videos almost every single day over on YouTube, as well as daily content over on the Twitter. So thank everybody for watching. Make sure to check us out on all social medias. Like, comment, subscribe. I am Redfish.
I am Mustang.
I'm Rebo Hustle.
Lionel Frankenstein.
What?
Clown car.
What? And we will all see you next time.
What?